Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in today for Joxx here, brought to you by KTC Broadcasting, live out of Cherryville, North Carolina. I want to thank all of you that tune in, whether you're here in the States, out of the States, sometimes even out of the country. Hunter Yancey here. Kevin Hastings is in the background. He will be back in here shortly. He's just finishing up some technical work. Also with us is Zach Mayhue, like almost every Wednesday. Some Wednesdays he might miss, but most of the time, every Wednesday, he is here. We want to thank everybody again for tuning in. And sports are officially back in rolling. I think we can finally say that now, where it's not a lot of us are in limbo. I think the only thing that's kind of in limbo is maybe college football.
And not as a whole, I would think.
Yeah, not as
partiality.
a
whole. Partial, where, you got certain ones already said they're not going to play, but
right.
There might be some. We'll see. We'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, it's and it's one of those things too where we're close to it.
That's what I was thinking in my mind.
If I'm not mistaken, next week.
They're always a week before. Traditionally, a week before NFL starts.
Traditionally, yes, and I think next week, I saw somewhere it's the FCS kickoff, and then one of the first games will be for the FBS. One of the first games is Arkansas State versus Memphis. And then somebody else was playing the week after, or like the day after. It was actually pretty big. Oh, I know who. It was Navy was the big name. So I'm not sure exactly when all the major conferences are going to start. And the only reason I say that is because there are still colleges in the ACC. Like NC State just had to cancel or basically postpone athletic workouts. North Carolina's done it. They've postponed athletic workouts just because, COVID cases that are popping up on campus. And it's just one of those things where are these teams maybe going to say, are we ready week one? Because we know ACC, SEC, and Big 12 are the ones that are committed out of the Power 5 conferences. They're the ones that are committed to still playing in the fall. But I don't know if the conferences take a look at it and say week one. I don't know for a fact. Don't quote me on this. I don't have the schedules in front of me. But say week one, the matchup was North Carolina versus like Virginia Tech. And it was supposed to be at Chapel Hill. But maybe they still have their athletic facilities closed down. Maybe they don't. Maybe Virginia Tech says, until you guys get these cases underway, we're not coming down to play you. It's either that or you guys travel up here and play us.
Or go neutral.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange because I don't think anybody has really asked this question because we were all set fine and dandy until the kids started to get on campus. Like it was all fine and dandy on paper.
I think the biggest thing right now too, you're talking about if they would have to go to Virginia Tech, home field is not going to matter this year. It's
no.
Same thing as dealing with basketball. What they're dealing with in basketball, there's no home field advantage. Don't matter if you're the higher seed. You're playing in a neutral spot with no fans.
Yes.
So if Tar Heels would have to travel to Virginia Tech, it wouldn't even matter.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I was thinking in my own mind, this is going to change up everything because how many times does crowd or being home field give you that advantage? I mean, it's going to be a different year.
We're seeing it in the bubble with the NBA.
I agree.
They have to be their own crowd.
Yeah.
They have to get themselves up by themselves. It's just going to be an interesting dynamic to see scheduling-wise if a team did say, because the other team that's having problems with it in the state of North Carolina is NC State.
Yeah.
NC State had to stop their athletic facilities for a little while, their athletic practices. So I'm just saying, maybe week one, say NC State and North Carolina were supposed to both host their opening game, but the opposition says, well, you don't quite have everything in order down there. Your cases are out of control. Is this going to cause postponements? Is this going to cause scheduling changes? I don't know. But as of right now, sports are still up and running, and everything is going good. And I'm just excited that the NFL is actually a lot closer than we think it is. It's like 2-3 weeks away.
2-3 weeks. It's not that much. I was looking at our sheet, Hunter, and I was thinking about this Saturday, going ahead and redoing our picks because we don't have any preseason games.
No, we don't.
We really don't have anything else to. We don't have anything else to wait.
Right.
To judge on. Usually we wait on those picks and everything because we're waiting on injuries,
Yeah.
player cuts, things like that. With no preseason this year and the way training camp is, it's going to be everything's going to be different. We'll say that. I just hope they get all the games in.
I think they can. I think they can.
Obviously, they haven't made any announcements as far as if one player gets it, are we canceling the whole game type thing? Like baseball has done and other things. I just looking forward to seeing some football. This week was our last week. This would be our second week of high school football, Zach. I think if we would have been playing this week and on our schedule, I don't think I have that. My schedule. Let me check. I might have it right here in front of me. If I don't, I'm going to look for it. But we had our preseason polls. Let's see. I got my classifications. I don't think I actually had the broadcast schedule. I think I just tore it up and threw it away whenever the games were decided.
Yeah, and the fact that they weren't going to be anytime soon.
No, not now. Yeah. Not till February. It's gonna be weird having basketball first. Hopefully, we'll be allowed to broadcast.
Did you know that we're like one of only 4 other states that have postponed football to the spring? It's only like 4 or 5 states, including us. Well, what do the other states know that we don't know, or vice versa? What do we know that they don't know? That's just strange.
I feel bad for the kids. If they don't play in the spring, I'm going to feel really bad for the kids. The way North Carolina handled it, I think they made the right decision. I think they just waited till too late to do it.
Well, that's what I said. I said the whole time. I think we've said that all summer, leading up to their final decision. And me and you obviously were both like, okay, good decision, fine. If that's what you want to do, cool. Why did it take this long for you to decide it? Why did it take you almost to the start of school to decide? Because now you had these kids that were already out there holding practices. Coaches in high schools were holding practices, and then all of a sudden it's like you got to just put a big old stop to that.
Well, Zach, I wondered if it had anything to do with, public money. You get federal funding for your school, and because you got to think if you're North Carolina and say we're not going to play to the spring, and everybody around you plays in the fall. Let's say you're Kobe Paysor. Okay. If you're a highly touted recruit, and it's going to be your senior year, would you not rather go to South Carolina and play in the fall
and report
to your team in the spring for spring ball? Now, we discussed we don't know if they would be eligible to play for, the spring teams, but whether or not, most guys, a lot of big recruits graduate in December at their high schools, and then they go play spring ball and practice with the team in the spring. So, to me, think about if you're Kobe or one of the other guys that says, okay, well, I've already committed, and then I'm going to wait, and then what if something happens, and then you don't play in the spring?
The crazy thing, you're talking about your eligibility and stuff like that. College came down. I don't know if y'all seen it, but they said they're going to give another year of eligibility to all these athletes. High school don't have that ability.
No,
because they're a senior. They're out. So
not just that,
you're going to lose it.
I was going to say not just that, but they couldn't handle the size anyways.
Right.
You're going to give a kid an extra year of high school.
So I don't know athletes get to come back to high school for next year.
One, I don't know what kid really wants to do that. They're ready to get out. 2, I understand where the college athletics is coming from, wanting to do that, but that really is only going to be taken advantage of by underclassmen and guys that aren't getting drafted.
Yeah,
if you're a high draft pick, what's the point of you staying an extra year when you can just go get the money?
I think one thing that we've got to do, and in college sports today, because there's always the people. Well, what about the Zion Williamsons? And if you do your whole sport around the Zion Williamsons, it's not. I wouldn't do that. You have to do it based on the. Let's see. So in the NFL draft, there's 7 rounds.
What is it? Even less than 1% of college athletes get drafted.
Right. So in the NFL draft, there's 7 rounds, 32 teams. That's 238 draft picks, roughly. I think I did that right. No,
math's tough. It's okay.
7 times 24. 200. Whatever. It don't matter. It's over 200 people.
There's 100 people on a roster on a college campus.
Right. So if you got, there's 200 college Division I teams about, and so just the sheer percentages of it, and that's what we were kind of talking the other day about the XFL, is that I talked to Andy about it the other day about that if the XFL with 45 times 8, that's 320 players, they could technically take all of those seniors, all of those upperclassmen. Just think if the XFL was opening in January. All these kids that
they're still open for possibility.
All these kids could come play for money in February as opposed to playing college football in February. And I think that's the thing, like with Andy, I was trying to explain to him, is that's the niche that they need to hit, is the kids wanting to go to play in the NFL. The schools are getting rid of the SAT scores. They don't want the SATs and the ACTs. So
they want their athletes to be able to get in.
How does that help with?
If they don't have good grades, they don't want that to prevent them from being able to play on their athletic programs.
And so that leads to the great Nick Saban this week in his comments that, you know, they want to play for the player's sake, Hunter, not for the money. Of all the people that should be saying that, it should not be him.
Not the one making $9 million. Not the one that's the highest paid state employee in the state of Alabama.
48 of 50 states, Zach, the highest paid state employee is either a basketball coach or a football coach.
Oh, good.
And I think you see all these coaches panicking and talk about, like Coach K, we got to have the tournament. We can't survive without tournament. Well, who's we?
They're getting that revenue.
Who's we? Can the Duke players?
I need that TV money
Can
to
the Duke
be spread
players
about.
play the Carolina players for free at the park somewhere? Yeah. But they want the money. Well, who's getting the money? Oh, it's Coach K and Coach Roy and Saban and it's for Saban to say it's not about the money and then still take a $8-9 million paycheck. Of course, is just ridiculous for him to even get into that.
The question I still pose, I guess, is what I brought up when we opened the show is, do we think there might be a slight delay in some of these opening day matches for maybe some of the ACC schools that are having a COVID problem?
NC State's opener has already been rescheduled.
Okay. And NC State is playing Virginia Tech, so I just mix-matched them. I said
NC
UNC
State
might be playing them.
Opener against Virginia Tech is moving from September 12th to the 26th. 27 positive cases. Did you see Alabama's school? 500 cases in the school. They had 300 people test positive on the way in, and they tested them again a week later, and now there's 500 new ones. So, there's Saban. So, we're getting to the point where they're going to ask the kids to leave campus, and then the players are going to have to be playing. And they're like, is this pro or is this college? And that's what they're asking about, this name, image, and likeness. I got the college football game over here. They're going to load it up and play a little bit, and some of the guys.
It wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing other delays. Because, like I said, I read it. It was a tweet. It was, I think, ESPN College Game Day or whatever. It was like, college football returns next week. And I'm like, what? Next week? Some of these schools still haven't opened their training facilities back up. And the reason why I bring that up, too, is because earlier, I know this is on the pro level, but Montgomery, starting running back for the Bears, has a groin injury just out here during practices. And I brought this up last week to Kevin, and I was like, with there not being preseason games for the NFL, and now I can correlate this with college, with them having to shut down and then reopen and then shut down and then reopen these training facilities, we're just asking for injuries, especially day one. Because you're just telling these kids to say, look, all right, you've been out of here for 2 weeks. We haven't been able to really work out. You've had to just run on your own and do everything on your own. But we got to go 0 to 100 game one, all right? Because we got to win this first game, all right? That's exactly what's going to happen. And in my mindset, I'm like, we're just getting ready to see a slew of injuries, and it's going to be sad, especially if it's those kids that I said needed the season. I'm not talking the Trevor Lawrences or all the guys that could opt out because they're going to get high drafted. I'm talking about the guys that are fringe draft players that are going out there saying, well, I got to put this tape together because it's going to be the difference between me sitting my butt at home in April or me getting up and walking across that stage in April. So I think that's what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of injuries.
If you're an Alabama team that has to play a cupcake, you only have to play your starters for a quarter.
Well, right. Well, they've kind of fixed that. They're playing all conference now this year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
So instead of playing Mercer and Western Carolina, Alabama has to play Kentucky and Missouri now.
And the Kentucky one will not be a cakewalk because what a lot of people don't seem to remember is like The two powerhouses in the SEC, Georgia and Alabama, technically this is rebuild. Jake Fromm's not there at Georgia anymore. Tua is not the starting quarterback at Alabama anymore. So they lost like 3 receivers to the first round at Alabama. Who knows how many defensive players. So this might not be just a cakewalk for Alabama. I'm not going to say that they are going to lose like 6 or 7 of their games. No.
They weren't ranked in the top 2 in the AP poll that came out. I think Clemson was 1, Ohio State was 2.
That doesn't surprise me. They got the 2 best quarterbacks in the country. That's going to make a huge difference. North Carolina's ranked 18th.
We got 3rd best quarterback in the country, right?
Some could argue.
How?
Recruiting class. That's how they do all this stuff.
He's playing defense, though.
Like,
preseason polls are all about recruiting class unless it's the defending national champion.
Appalachian got beat Carolina got beat at home by Appalachian State last year. And Carolina is ranked in the top 20, and Appalachian State is not ranked.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm
telling me, Hunter?
I'm telling you how they do it.
Are you telling me the AP voters are watching KTC on Friday night to know how good Chaz Surratt and Kobe Paysauer and Caleb Farley are? So when they do their rankings the next year, they'll be like, well, by God, look at these college these they got 4 stars. They're gonna win some games.
I don't know. So far, there are 23 preseason All-Americans that are slated to not play. They are opting out of the season. We know 2 of them. I'm pretty sure Caleb Farley was a preseason All-American.
I don't know.
I don't know about Sage. I think Sage would have been close because he was still considered one of the top wide receivers in the country.
Who's you talking about? Caleb? I'll look real quick. I don't.
Never mind. Receiver is not.
Caleb is not. Chaz is on the second team. We can check second teams.
Oh yeah, I forgot they do like first and second teams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Second.
Wow. Yeah, Caleb Farley's on second team cornerback.
Okay. So yeah, they're going to be drafted, man. I mean, there's no. I mean, there's only 4 cornerbacks on all preseason All-American, and they're on it. Yeah, let's see, 220 AP preseason. Let me get mad at this for a minute. Let's see what these fools are doing.
It's showing that Chaz has opted out. That's what they're saying.
Where'd you see that at?
I'm reading this. The way that it's said is the results. The team was selected. Blah 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 blah. The All-Americans who will play this season include Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, Oklahoma State Chuba Hubbard, sorry, that's how I say it, and LSU receiver Jamar Chase. I mean, I haven't seen any. I guess I could just be saying that, though, because I don't see them listing which of these players are not playing. They just listed basically the first and second team. That's what I'm looking for, is to see which ones are in fact sitting out, and it's not giving me a definitive.
It's not saying it on that list. Well, what's the point of writing the article then?
That's what I'm saying.
Are the X's the ones opting out?
I
see X's and Y's. I see X's and Y's next to names. Did you read the legend?
No, where's the legend?
Y is opted out for the season. X's team not playing in the fall.
Okay, so why? Okay, Chaz is not
has
opting
nothing
out.
Next to him right now.
All right, so he's still playing.
As of right now.
Well, as of right now, you're right.
We'll see.
We'll see. North Carolina might have to push theirs back unless they got their COVID cases under control. Their season opener. I don't even remember who they're supposed to open up with.
It ain't App. It ain't App. They ran away from them. Them and Wake Forest did this year. They rescheduled Charlotte instead. That might be the opener. Charlotte.
Maybe.
Trying to see the extra. I'm trying to find the extra votes. You know, there's always, it shows the votes.
Yeah,
the
who all
got votes. I can't find anywhere on who got votes. Carolina's coming in at 17 or 18. If your team, Zach, goes, what was he, 6 and 7 last year?
I thought they were 7 and 6. They got an extra win in the bowl.
And you beat a bowl. Yeah, you won the bowl by beating Temple. You lost at home to Appalachian State. And then all of a sudden, based on, I'm not saying they don't have a good recruiting class, but a good recruiting class, that puts you in the top 20.
Yeah.
How bad are the teams 10 through 20 for a team that sucked has been saying, hey, guys, you know what? They got a bunch of good freshmen. We're not talking sophomores and juniors and seniors here. They got a bunch of good freshmen. So all of a sudden, they're in the top 20.
And
Dang, ACC
I can
is
see
huge.
it with we talked about this. Basketball, one person can make a difference. Football, I don't think one person could
Not
do that.
freshmen.
No,
That's
no.
weird.
I mean, even you think about as electric as Vic was, when he was at
The
Virginia Tech.
ACC is huge. I didn't realize really how many teams are in the ACC now.
We got
There are
20
15 teams in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
15. I'm looking at the Big 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they can never figure out who their champion
And
is.
Notre Dame and Louisville is nowhere near an ocean.
It would be 14, but Notre Dame
They're
was
nowhere
forced.
near.
It would be 14, but Notre Dame was forced to be a part of the ACC
Atlantic
this year,
Coast.
which they should have been this whole time. But
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to.
out of the 15 teams,
Separate.
there are 3 teams ranked in the ACC. Clemson obviously is the number 1 team. Notre Dame is 10th. North Carolina is 18th.
All right, let's. We're gonna play a guessing game for you guys here. We're gonna play. This is the worldwide leaders.
There's 14 in the Big 10.
This is the best school for position. Like which school produces the best
positions?
Okay,
All right, so we just have to guess.
pretty much. This is hardly a cut and dry decision. Our stats and information had to come up with some parameters. First, we limited our scope to only the seasons from '98 till now. Second, we wanted to measure both quantity and quality, so rather just a tally of NFL players from each school. We used Football Reference data to weigh our findings based on draft round and average NFL value during their first 4 seasons, whatever that means. Beyond 4 years, the value of the college's contribution is far outweighed by NFL development. Lastly, we wanted to include college performance too, so we gave additional points for all conference and All-American awards. We also had to solve the Jalen Hurts problem, where a successful player attended multiple schools. For this, we awarded points for college accomplishments to the school they attended when those awards were received. Okay. So anyway,
Okay, so.
number 1.
Uh-huh.
School in America producing quarterbacks. Don't look.
Number 1 school in America.
Terry
producing
would say
quarterbacks.
NC State.
No, they're not in the top 10.
I was about to say Terry would say NC
USC.
State.
USC is number 2. Got a guess? I'll give you the top 5. We're going to go through a couple of these, make this kind of quick.
Texas.
Texas is 5. Number 1,
Notre Dame.
quarterbacks, Oklahoma.
Oh, Baker and
should do that.
Jalen.
2, USC. 3, Oregon.
Sam
4, Louisville.
Bradford.
5, Texas. 6, Florida State. Who's missing? Hunter. It says NC State.
Yeah, Glennon.
We're wearing protective gear and entering the witness protection program to avoid the NC State backlash this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Wolfpack have numbers to make their case with Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers, Brissett, Mike Glennon, Ryan Finley, all on NFL rosters. But remember how this formula works. For all of its NFL talent, NC State has never racked up many college awards. So
That's the truth.
It's a combination of the two.
Even when NC State had Russell Wilson, he didn't shine until he was with
He didn't play-
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He was.
played
It
there
says Wilson's lone season as a Heisman contender was at Wisconsin. Rivers was only Rivers was a high draft choice, and then there's a problem with Wilson's transfer. Do we award his NFL success to Wisconsin or NC State in that regard? So there's your. So it says for NC State, it's just complicated.
Read that to Terry though.
We will Saturday. Running backs.
Alabama.
Guess that.
Georgia.
Alabama 1. Georgia is 9. Wisconsin 2. LSU 3. Miami 4. Oklahoma 5. So Alabama.
I knew it'd be Alabama because they produced Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, and they both won Heisman's while
Kenyon
they were
Drake,
there.
Right, Texas.
Josh Jacobs,
Texas been a while,
Trent
probably.
Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
I said, who's next? Georgia could possibly crack the top 5. I don't know. They've had some.
We've had some banging
Pretty good
running
running
backs. I mean,
Who's that?
Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I
Todd
was
Gurley,
surprised
Sony
at.
Michel, Nick Chubb.
Really?
The only
They're
problem is
9.
they just not bring.
Auburn?
They don't bring home the college hardware, the Heisman. That's
Well,
been Bama running back.
That's the first sentence. How do the Dogs not crack our top 5? Part of the issue is that with all the talent, those players haven't exactly racked up any awards.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Did I write this?
Yeah, you got to get people to vote for you.
Did I write this story? I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did.
The sheer volume of talent is impressive. That's what it says about you guys. Wide receivers.
I want to say LSU.
Alabama, possibly.
I want to say LSU, but
Um,
I have to
Yeah,
think of the
LSU.
I have to think.
LSU 3, Bama 8.
So I have to think of those that have had NFL success too.
I'm thinking in my head.
Ohio State.
Florida State, Miami.
Ohio State's 4, Florida State 5. The number 1 team is USC Trojans,
Huh?
according to
Surprising.
this.
Me. My mind.
What? I can't even think of a Southern besides
Williams.
Juju Smith-Jr.
Juju, Marquise Lee, Robert Woods, Dwayne Jarrett, Michael Pittman Jr.
I don't get that.
No, not better than LSU.
Is that
Got
a
Jarvis
better-
Landry and Odell
That's what I
Beckham.
was about to say. Is that better than
Yeah, I
Jarvis and
can't see
Odell?
that.
And not to mention Justin Jefferson just came out and Jamar Chase is getting. No, that list is going to get blown
Who
up.
was the two that just got picked up by the Raiders? The Raiders picked one.
You talking about the kids from
Was that
Alabama?
Alabama?
That was
Yeah, it was
Alabama. That's
Alabama.
Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, there was
and then
Ruggs
Jerry
it.
Jeudy.
Yeah,
Tight end.
really good.
Iowa.
That's 2.
I knew they produced good because T.J. Hawkinson came out, and then
Boston
Greg
College?
Kittle's
What,
from
Dallas
Iowa.
Clark from there?
I think.
Is he from there too?
And I think Greg Kittle is from there too. Or is it? Is it? Yes.
Yeah, Dallas Clark, Komet. That's Notre Dame's Cole Komet. George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Fant. All right.
Oh, Fant. That was it. Yeah. No, and Hawkinson came from there. They were both from the same school.
Number 1 tight end, Zach. They got this. It's where they all stay on the 7th floor.
Is it Miami?
Yes. They keep all the tight ends on the 7th floor.
Wasn't
down
Jeremy Shockey from Miami?
there. Yes. Kellen
Shockey.
Winslow, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, okay,
Wow.
now.
That's pretty impressive.
That is
I don't
pretty
even think-
good.
I don't even think that's arguable.
No. Not to mention, I mean,
Olsen.
Greg Olson's from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There's your
That's
tight ends.
impressive.
That's some good tight ends.
Offensive line,
Wisconsin.
2.
Hot. Is it Iowa?
You're good at naming the number 2 team.
Is it
You nailed the 2. about all of
because
them.
I mean, is it Iowa?
No.
Is it
They're
a big
9.
Is it a Big 10 school though?
No.
Ooh. Ooh.
Alabama?
Alabama.
Okay, that's not surprising. They had one go in the top 10, top
They
first
usually
round
do.
this year.
Top 20
They
every
usually
year.
do have somebody go in the first round.
Quanjo is one
big
of them that I
guys.
can think of.
They
that's
usually
going-
have defensive linemen along with Georgia and Auburn.
Yeah. Wow.
Clemson's coming up on
Wisconsin's
some
not
of that defensive
number
side
8
stuff, though.
Alabama
Wow.
linemen have been selected within the first 50 picks of the draft.
They produce some talent down there in
7
Bama.
All-Americans. It says under the radar, Boston College. Clemson is who's missing, who didn't make the top 10, right outside it. Defensive line, University. Think about it, Zach.
Clemson
got-
has been
they're
producing
4.
some.
They're 4. Who's got good defensive ends almost all the time?
NC State should be up there.
No, they're not.
Really surprising because they've had some big ones come out.
Is it Ohio
top 5
State? It's not Ohio
defensive
State.
ends.
Ohio State's 3.
Because Nick and Joey both came
When I
from
think of
there.
outside linebackers and defensive ends, I think of this school about every time. Florida State.
Yeah.
Florida State is number 1 on the defensive line.
Defensive tackles is Alabama.
Alabama 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson 4, Penn State 5.
Penn State's been putting out some decent ones.
Penn State
past
used to be
years.
the linebacker but they've off the map.
Linebacker U.
LBU,
Penn State's 5.
Miami.
Really.
Miami's 8.
Ooh, that hurts. Is it Georgia?
It's your boys, yes, the Dogs.
I had to
Roquan
think.
Smith,
That's
Leonard Floyd,
exactly
Jarvis
what I was
Jones,
going to say.
Alec Ogletree, Will Witherspoon, Kendrell Best, Boss Bailey, Odell Thurman, Ronnie Curran, and Lorenzo Carter.
And people forget Thomas Davis is a dog.
He was drafted for one reason by the Panthers to take care of Michael Vick.
He's fast, man.
He was.
Defensive backs.
LSU.
Ohio State.
LSU 2, Ohio State 1. Y'all boom on those. Alabama 3, Florida 4, Miami
He hit the
5.
number 2 again, by the way.
He did. He's like almost every position.
LSU keeps claiming their DBU. Like you follow him on social media.
Yeah.
They got Tyrann Mathieu they produced, Patrick Peterson, Denzel
Wisconsin
Ward. They've
should
got
have
a
some.
lot
Is
of
Wisconsin not up there? No.
Hold on.
Wisconsin, I would think, producing more burly defensive linemen.
No,
That's
no
where J.J.
defensive
Watt
line.
was at, right? J.J. Watt was a
Yeah.
walk-on at Wisconsin. Think of that. A walk-on. He was a 2-star recruit out of high school.
I wonder if he was like Pippen and real small and just beefed up.
I think that is what happened. Who's the kicker? Who's produced the most kickers?
It didn't get to the kickers.
That'd be
Sorry,
funny.
Hunter.
That'd be so funny.
They should have.
I don't see
It
why
ain't some of
not.
the big
That's
schools
that's
because they
disres-
usually don't have to worry about kicking field
Alabama
goals.
ain't kicked yet, have they?
No, Alabama can't hit a field goal
When
to
it,
save
when it
their
comes down to the
life.
end of the game, they're going, "Oh God, we got to put him in."
So
Yeah.
So first team, I'll name some local folks, and we're Clemson Network too. So Trevor Lawrence, running back. How do you say the kid from Clemson's name? Travis
Etienne.
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 Then we got my internet moved for a second. Alabama, Ohio State, Alabama, Chase Junior, Purdue, Iowa.
There's not going to be many ACC schools outside of Clemson. Well, except North Carolina's got Chaz, and Virginia Tech's got Caleb Farley on second team.
Now punter did make the first the teams. They didn't say anything about a kicker.
Ain't that crazy?
Punter from Kentucky is on first team All America.
Ooh.
So there you go.
Give the
for
punter
that.
some love.
Ohio
But
State,
no,
Iowa,
they still won't
Minnesota,
remember his name.
Iowa, Wake Forest, defensive end, Basham. For you Wake Forest fans, Chaz, of course, in North Carolina. At linebacker, Caleb Farley at Virginia Tech, former Maiden Blue Devil here in our area. And the punter from Rutgers. So no kickers on the All-American teams, just punters.
Wow.
The name of the game, Hunter, is football.